welcome to your next episode of Noshable Notes. Today, we're at the Palace in the Cincinnatian Hotel, and we're about to cook with Chef Jose Salazar, who was just named in 2011 Food and Wine Magazine's the People's Best New Chef for the Great Lakes area. It's quite the honor, and I'm really excited to see what he has for us. He calls his hometown Queens, but he actually spent his childhood in Pennsylvania. There, he spent a lot of time getting to know the produce at the Amish markets, which created a love of pure product and pure ingredients, which he says still influences his cuisine today. He spends a lot of time in the farmers markets here in Cincinnati using local fare to inspire his dishes. In addition, his South American heritage also plays in to his culinary creation. However, it was his 4 years under Chef Thomas Keller helping him open American French-inspired restaurants such as Bouchon Bakery and Per Se that left the largest impression on his culinary style. Now, I don't know what he's about to cook with us, but he says it's one of his favorite dishes. I can't wait to find out. Let's go get cooking. Welcome to Noshable Notes. My name's Adhrucia, and today we're with Chef Jose Salazar at the Palace in the Cincinnatian in Cincinnati, Ohio. We are about to make one of his sauces for the dish that we're going to put together later. This is a sauce you can make ahead of time. Sauce, is that the right way to describe it?
It's more of a condiment, I think.
Okay.
They use it in northern Italy, and a lot of times they'll put it on boiled meats, things that are a little bit blander.
Remind me the enunciation again.
Mostarda.
Mostarda.
Basically,
It'll only take me all day to get that.
Yeah, right. Basically, it's a fruit compote or you know, almost like a puree. It can be chunky, it can be smooth, and it always has mustard folded into it. So
And
it's
you were saying the origin, what's the origin of it?
Italy.
Italy? Is it
Yeah.
Italian?
Mhm.
Okay.
So for ours, we're using green apples, and I like green apples because they hold their shape better. You know, the texture of them, just like when you're making an apple
Firmer.
pie. Yeah,
Right.
they're firmer, and they got a little bit of acidity because we're gonna add some sugar and some apple juice to them. So we start by dicing our apple. I'm gonna peel it for you. I'm gonna give you a little demo, and then I'm gonna have you
Okay.
finish off the rest. I have some that are already diced ahead of time. You want about 5 apples for this recipe. This is gonna give you way more than you need for this dish, but this is great on just about anything. I mean, you could smear it on toast and it would be
Oh,
just
that sounds
amazing.
delicious.
So we're gonna start off with a small dice, and you can make this as small or as large as you want. And basically, you get your little planks, and then like that, and then you turn it sideways.
So little dice squares is what we're going
All
for.
dice, here we go. And that's gonna go in there. So why don't you go ahead and do that while I start peeling some celery.
Why don't I go ahead and do
Yeah,
that?
go ahead, come on.
Okay, so we're doing plain.
Wait, I gotta show you
toothpick?
something. Hold
Yeah.
on. 101.
Okay.
Put your hand like this, like a claw.
Yes,
there
so
you
that I
go.
don't slice
So you
my
don't slice your
fingers.
fingers off. 'Cause I don't want to be responsible.
I actually knew that,
I don't think we have insurance for you.
but chefs make me a little bit nervous. Especially chefs that are rated #1 by Food and Wine Magazine this year.
Thank you. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh yeah, it was a great award. It's actually the People's Best New Chef.
The
which-
Great Lakes region, right?
Great Lakes region, yeah. Which is really cool because that includes Chicago, and obviously Chicago is a great food town. All right.
So what are we
that's that.
placing this into?
Right. So let me go ahead and get the rest started. So we have some apple juice. This is about maybe 2 cups of apple juice,
Okay.
and we have some sugar. If you don't mind putting that in there.
How much sugar?
All of that. That's about a cup of sugar. And
Two
then-
cups of you said 2 cups of apple juice and a cup of sugar.
And about 2 cups of white wine.
Cup of white wine.
White wine is good for everything. So we're gonna put this on the stove, and we're gonna kind of let it boil down. It's gonna go about halfway.
Do you need to stir it at all?
No, you just let it reduce by maybe even a little bit more than halfway, about 2/3 of the way.
Okay.
And you get this kind of almost syrup. At that point, we have our apples that are already diced. And let's see if you can follow me over here. We're
Is
gonna.
that just in water?
This is just water with a little bit of lemon juice. That can come from oxidized too much.
So you're just straining it out of
Strain it
the
out,
water
and
and
once our-
lemon juice.
Once our liquid is reduced, then those will be ready to go in there.
Okay.
Almost like a chunky
So all you
applesauce.
did was you took the apple slices that were soaked in lemon juice and water,
Yep.
added it to the reduced mixture of the apple juice, sugar, and that's
White
it?
wine.
White wine.
Yeah.
Halfway down, and then you cook it for how long?
Then we cook it for about another 15 minutes or so, just till the liquid's evaporated.
Okay.
And at that point, you still have a little bit of texture left in the apples, but they're soft. And then we fold in some whole grain mustard and some powdered mustard. So you get mustard in two different ways. So then
Okay.
these add a really nice texture and a little bit of
About how much whole grain mustard for
that
this
would be
concoction?
about 2 tablespoons, and this is about 2 tablespoons of
mustard.
powdered mustard. Yeah.
What does that add? Just more flavor? Is
It gives
just
it more flavor.
concentrated?
Yeah, it's a more concentrated
Okay.
mustard flavor. And then if you just added, a bunch of mustard like Dijon or something, then it would just make it too wet. So
Okay.
this also helps kind
Keeps
of
the texture.
bind it up a little bit. So that's that. And then
Can I taste it?
Oh, absolutely. Here.
And how long do you think this actually stays? If you're gonna make a
This-
whole bunch of it.
This would keep for easily 3 to 4 weeks. Think of it almost as applesauce, but if you keep it obviously refrigerated.
It's like a spiced apple chutney almost.
There you
a
go,
little
a
bit.
chutney. That's probably
Mostarda, right?
Mostarda, very good.
It's delicious.
Wonderful.
We're in the kitchen with Chef Jose Salazar, and he's going to teach us how to make from scratch his pumpkin granola.
That's
Whenever
right.
you're ready, Chef.
All right, cool. So we start with some oats, some really good quality oats.
Okay. About how much are we putting in? How much are we
Oh.
making, first of all?
Oh, this also makes quite a bit.
Okay.
But this is a great little snack. You can make trail mix with it. You can, if you have kids, put
Oh,
it in
yeah.
their lunchbox, whatever. And
And I
it's
just
really,
love
really,
granola all the time.
Yeah, it's really healthy. So it's kind of hard to make it any smaller than this. That was about 2 cups of oats. This is about 2 cups of brown sugar.
Okay.
And about a cup of pumpkin seeds. And then we've got some melted butter.
How much melted butter?
That is about a 1/4 pound of melted butter.
1/4 pound.
And then I'm going to ask you to go ahead and stir that up for me.
With what? Hands?
No, not at all. Here you go.
Spatula. Okay. Just get it all.
Get it all well
combined.
incorporated. And then actually, if you feel like it's not well mixed, then you're going to have to get in there with your hands. So I was like, no! And of course, I'm going to make you get dirty. Oh, wait, we forgot. We got to put a little bit of honey in there. Granola without honey just isn't granola. Can you scrape that out for me then?
Absolutely.
Cool.
How much honey did we add?
That was only about 2 tablespoons or so.
2 tablespoons
Yeah,
of
but
honey?
just enough to sweeten it up.
Okay.
So
This is so easy.
It is, right? Super, super simple. In the meantime, you're going to preheat your oven to 250 degrees.
Okay.
And we're going to line it on this little baking sheet. We have a piece of parchment paper on the bottom. And you're going to bake it for about a half an hour.
Wow, that is such a simple recipe.
Easy, right? Super, super easy.
Absolutely.
All right, so
no
if you
cinnamon,
could,
nothing, just basic flavors, right?
just basic flavors. Yeah, we don't, for this dish, we don't really want to incorporate too much spice. We want to kind of let the foie gras shine. And we have apples and other things that are going to add some
So you want simple granola.
simple
Got it.
granola, yeah.
Okay.
And then go ahead and spread that out for me. There you go. This is where you might have to get your hands dirty.
These are all my favorite things.
Right.
I love the pumpkin. So why the pumpkin seeds? Is there a reason
Texture
for that?
and pumpkin and apple I think just go really well together.
Oh, absolutely.
That's it. And then there's this oven right behind you here is preheated to 250. Yeah, you could
I break up a couple
make
of
sure you
those
break it up
chunks.
a little bit.
I might not have mixed that one.
That's all right. There we go.
That's why I got the extra with me. Here we go.
There we go. Right in this oven here. Wonderful.
And how long are we going to bake that for?
Half an hour. That's
About
it.
half an hour?
Half an hour, and then you let it cool in the pan before you try and get to it.
Okay.
And then once it's done, it hardens up, and then you can just break it up into little pieces.
Are these
Give that a try.
beautiful? Mm.
Isn't that good? My cooking is a lot like that. I try to, really focus in on the flavors that we're using and not overdo it, not have it too overraw. Just kind of let the really good ingredients speak for themselves.
I'm going to eat more.
Go ahead.
That's how you make pumpkin seed granola. On to our recipe. Noshable Notes here at the Palace at the Cincinnati in Cincinnati, Ohio with Chef Jose Salazar. And we are about to make his favorite dish. Chef, what are we making today?
It's a seared foie gras with pumpkin seed granola, apple mostarda, celery, baby bok choy, and apple cider reduction.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
It sounds like a lot, but it's actually a pretty simple dish.
Okay.
And it's
Well, I love foie gras, so I'm not going to complain.
who doesn't, right? So it's inspired by the season. I mean, we have pumpkin seed, we have apples this time of the year, bok choy, and it's just really hearty yet not too much. You know.
Nice for the cold
Nice
weather.
for the cold weather. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So what do we get started with? What would you have us prep before we start so we're ready to go cook right away?
Very first thing I would do is I would get a pot of boiling water on,
Okay.
and then add about, for that size pot, maybe 2 to 3 tablespoons of salt. So we really want to infuse the salt into the celery and the bok choy that we're going to blanch.
Just salted boiling water.
And then you have some ice water as well, because whenever you're blanching, you want to shock the vegetables. Meaning, after they've cooked, you want to cool them down right away so they keep their color. And they don't overcook.
We learned that in our last lesson. Okay,
All right.
so what do we start with?
We're going to start with our celery, just your basic celery.
Really quick, let me interrupt you. How many
Yeah.
people will this dish make?
This will feed 4, maybe 6 people.
Okay. 4 to 6.
You'll have some extra granola,
Okay.
granola, and you'll have some extra mostarda. But those are things that
You can use whenever.
they keep for a long time, and you can use them anytime. Yeah, they're really
We love
wonderful.
extras.
Extras, yeah. So we're gonna start by peeling the celery. This is a step that maybe not everybody would think of, but celery is really fibrous, and we're just kind of trying to get that extra layer of fiber off.
So it kind of stops it from being
Yeah,
too much.
I'm gonna have you go
So
ahead
it
and
stops
peel
from
that
being
one.
stringy.
Stringy, yeah, exactly.
And just 2 stalks of celery should be enough?
2 stalks of celery is plenty, yeah. And then we're gonna go ahead and pick some of these beautiful little leaves for garnish. Because they're also really delicious. They don't just look pretty, but they have a really nice, kind of almost bitter.
Hold on. I'm struggling with my celery over here. I love how when the chefs do everything and it's so easy.
No, you're doing
It
great.
can be done.
No, you're doing wonderful. It looks good.
There you go.
All right, and then we can go ahead and get rid of this. I always put a little piece of parchment paper because look how easy the cleanup is, right? So go ahead and grab your celery, and you're going to slice it right down the middle like this.
All the way in half?
Uh-huh,
Okay.
right. And then we're gonna leave half of it off to the side,
Okay.
and then we're gonna take the other half and we're gonna do a long sort of bias cut. Alright, just like that. Okay.
Okay.
And
Whoa,
then
hold on. Yours look a lot different than mine.
no, not really. They're okay.
Okay, the longer the better.
It looks
guys.
good, it looks
We learned
good.
it here.
And then here's another part of our garnish. We're going to go ahead and take our peeler back, and we're going to actually, ooh, just got sprayed by celery juice. We're going to shave off some little slivers of the celery. If you want to go ahead and do that with yours.
Is this for a garnish?
This is a garnish, yeah. And this is also just adding a little bit of texture.
They look so beautiful.
A little fresh.
Almost paper thin.
Yeah, paper thin. Here, go ahead and cut them about that long like that.
Okay, so about an inch.
Yeah, about an inch. And then we're gonna put these into ice water, and as they hang out in the ice water, they're gonna curl up
Like ribbons almost.
like ribbons. Yeah, you'll see.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mhm.
That's a really
All right.
cool trick.
So that's that. And then we're gonna come over to our water. Our water's boiling.
Just put it in the boiling.
Throw it into the boiling water about a minute or so, because we still want to retain some of the texture. The
Okay.
beauty about celery is it has that nice crunch.
Crunch.
Yeah, but you'll
So
see.
a minute will keep it a little bit crunchy, huh?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then if you want to count to 45 seconds, no, I'm just kidding, but in about 30, 40 seconds, you want to go ahead and pull that out and throw it right into the ice water there.
I'm pretty gullible. You shouldn't joke with me. You'll have me standing over here counting for the next minute.
And then as soon as the celery comes out, we're going to go ahead and blanch our bok choy.
Okay.
This is baby bok choy. All I did is split it down the middle. This is a very mild cabbage, used a lot in Asian cooking. A lot of times they just quick saute. We're just gonna quick blanch it, and then later on we're gonna saute.
What would you say the cultural influence for this dish is? I know you said Mostarda was French. Is there?
It's actually Italian, yeah.
Okay.
Italian.
Mostarda is Italian? Or
Mostarda's Italian.
Oh, my bad. You said Mostarda was Italian.
Yeah, yeah. Bok choy,
listen, guys.
you know, bok choy, although it's used in Asian cooking, it wasn't necessarily a cultural influence here. I just thought the flavor profiles were, you know, apple and cabbage, pumpkin, you know, all these things that kind of just work really well together. And I kind of threw away the cultural, you know, aspect and said,
Just
who
make
cares?
it a
Global,
melting pot.
exactly. There you go.
We're cooking global cuisine today, guys.
So here, we don't want them to overcook. Go ahead and pull them out.
Where do you want me to put them?
Right into the ice water there.
I'm just gonna...
Plunk them in. There you go.
And then the bok choy goes in. Now, how long do you leave the bok choy in?
About the same amount of time, maybe a minute or so.
It's hot back here.
Can't stand the heat.
Oh, get out of the
just
kitchen.
kidding.
He caught me.
Yeah, I had to say it. You set yourself up.
So you said how long now?
That's about a minute or so as
A
well.
minute or so? Okay.
In the meantime, I have our foie gras here, and I pre-portioned it to about 3 ounces or so.
Now, what type of,
This is duck foie gras.
A duck foie gras.
Yeah, foie gras comes from either duck or geese, and what it is, it's the engorged liver. And what that means exactly is that they feed the animal to where its liver sort
It's
of
so big,
gets so
right?
big, yeah. And you know, there's some ethical questions, but
I still remember the first time I ever had foie gras. My godfather's French, and he's big into it, and he didn't tell me what it was. That was always a trick in my family.
Yeah.
Don't tell her what it is, and she'll eat it.
Right.
But I love it now.
so you can go ahead and pull out the bok choy now.
Okay.
And then you can put it right in there with the celery. Look how beautiful it is, huh? See how that bright green color? So what you want to do is you want to have plenty of water for the amount of vegetables that are going in. Because
Okay.
if you put, say, this much water and the vegetables are kind of like the same amount of volume, what happens is your water cools down and your vegetables turn brown or
Okay.
take too long to cook. So we have this beautiful foie gras, and what you want for seared foie gras is you want grade A foie gras. There's 3 different grades. There's A, B, and C.
What's the
B and
difference?
C are really good for making terrines or torsions, and they have a lot more veins running through them.
Ah.
The grade A has very, very minimal veins in there, and so the texture of it is much nicer. You don't get sort of any
So
stringiness.
this is the creme de la creme.
The creme de la
foie
creme.
gras.
Yeah. And then,
We're in for a treat today.
in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and get a pan hot, because we want a really, really hot pan for this.
Okay.
You know, not like smoking on fire hot, but we definitely want to get a nice crust on it. And then this is just a little fancy trick that, you know, chefs do. It's more for aesthetics than anything. But it
We're
also
scoring it.
Yeah,
so
we're
that'll
scoring
have
it.
so you put on the heat, it'll get a nice little grill in it.
Exactly. And then also it's
See, you can
it's
get
gonna help
fancy. That was easy. We can do that.
yeah, it's gonna help also hold in the salt. So if you could go ahead and season that for me. You want a pretty liberal, there you go, and then flip it over on every side. You want a nice little
So we're salting all 4 sides of foie gras,
yeah.
just to make sure that all those juices come out. Gets a nice even grill on it. Liberally.
Very
Don't be
good.
scared of yourself, guys.
There you go.
We're not trying to take care of your health today. We have some celery for that if you like.
Yeah, you can just here. Now you feel healthy,
We're
right?
equal. We're equal. It's all good.
Yeah. Let's move this over here. In the meantime, we're gonna go ahead and drain these because we don't want any excess moisture when we go to saute them up.
Okay. And with the celery too, or are you leaving that in there?
No, if you could, go ahead. You can either fish it out or you can go in there with your hands.
I think you just like to see me go fishing. Oh gosh, I got all the ice.
That's okay. You know,
Okay,
it might
what?
just be easier to go in there with
We're
your
just
hands.
going.
There
We're
we
going for
go.
it.
The best tool in the kitchen is your hand, by far.
Do you have an actual favorite tool in the kitchen that you use a lot?
I do. Besides my hand, I have this beautiful little spatula. It's actually a cake spatula. but I use it for just about everything. And I'm going to use it to flip the foie gras. It's really good for fish.
It's flexible, so
Because it flexes in
Got
there.
it.
And then this is another tool that I love, and it's only about $2 at a restaurant supply store. It's called a pastry scraper. So these
Okay.
are both actually pastry tools that I use in savory cooking. And this is really good for picking up ingredients. So if you cut something on your board, you go ahead and you pick it up with this tool too.
So you're just using those baking supplies
Yeah, there
to
you
your
go.
advantage, huh? So we got this pan, and we're gonna put it on high, right?
Yeah, very high heat.
Because we're searing it.
We're searing it,
Okay.
yep. And then it's gonna go in the oven for a minute.
What do you set your oven at?
About 375 degrees or so.
375
Yeah,
degrees?
yeah. It doesn't really matter if it's a little bit hotter or a little bit cooler. It's
Okay.
not that big a deal. So we're gonna wait just another second. In the meantime, we're gonna get another pan heating up here, and that's going to it's gonna be for our bok choy and our celery.
Just to reheat them,
We're gonna
right?
go ahead. We're gonna get a little bit of crust on those as well.
Okay.
And then heat them through. Yeah. So we're almost there. And so you say you like foie gras a lot, right?
I love foie gras.
Yeah.
I do.
So do you like it cold as well?
I like it both ways, and you know, I had the ethical dilemma run by me too. I was a vegetarian for a while.
Were you?
So I've gone back and forth, but it is delicious. I cannot deny that.
Can't deny it.
I can't
It's like
deny
bacon,
it.
right?
Exactly.
Like even if you're a vegetarian,
You're like,
just
"Ah,
the
that
smell of it. Yeah. All right, so this pan's really, really hot. You want to go ahead and
Yeah,
go
sure.
ahead. So
Do it on? Just put it
you
on.
want to go with the side that we scored because that's the side we're
Okay.
going to present it on. So go ahead and
Score
flip it
side
over.
down.
There you go. Now look at that. See how hot it is?
Oh yeah.
That's what we want. And you don't need any oil in the pan because foie gras has
Enough fat.
enough fat naturally. And then we're going to go into the oven.
So you just literally heated it up, quick sear on the scores, and we put it directly in the oven. And how long is it going to stay in the oven?
That'll be about 5 minutes. We're gonna flip it halfway through, so about 2.5 on each side.
Okay, 2.5 on each side. And then we're going to heat these back up?
Yeah, and for this we do need a little bit of oil, so I just have a vegetable oil, canola oil,
Okay.
any type of neutral oil. Go ahead and
Generous amount of oil, that's about 3 tablespoons, I would say.
yeah, and then just go ahead and give it another second or so to get hot.
Really hot.
Yeah. And then go ahead and add those in there. So you want to put those also cut side down. Beautiful. Go. And then what I do is I let these go for a little bit. We don't really want to cook the celery too much. We like that crunch. We don't want it to discolor too much.
Look at the beautiful color this celery makes me after the ice.
It's
I mean, that
almost
is
like
just almost fluorescent.
almost like mosaic tile is what I.
Absolutely. It makes you, this itself is so palatable. I just want to arrow.
Could you pass me my fancy little?
His
Fast.
favorite tool. The chef's favorite tool.
All right, and then we're gonna go ahead, flip those over.
Okay.
Look at that nice crust that we got going on them.
Oh,
And
yeah.
at this point, we can go ahead and add the celery. You want to go ahead and throw those in there? Now, I always pull it off the heat a little bit because you got a little bit of moisture in there. You don't want it to flame up on you.
That's a cool trick. So digging off the heat just
Yeah.
to avoid any kitchen disaster.
There you go. And then
And
we're,
how long for the celery?
30 seconds. At
30
this point, we're also going to add a little bit more salt. There we go. And then
Salt. Anything else?
that's it. It's ready to go. We're going to go ahead and give it a little toss just to make sure it gets hot.
Notice how he didn't let me do that.
Go ahead, here.
No
Show
way.
us what you got. Show us
No
what you got.
way. My recommendation at home is just to use a spatula. Otherwise, you will have a fire.
All right, and then we'll go ahead and fill these out. We're going to put them on a paper towel just to get any excess grease that was in there. All right,
What's next?
and we'll let this rest up here. In the meantime, we can get our plate together. We're almost there.
It's plating time
Just
already?
about, yeah.
You know what comes after plating time? Eating time.
There we go. All right, so we do this really fancy thing called a quenelle with just a little dollop.
Oh, now.
A quenelle, yeah, that means you take 2 spoons.
Whoa, you have to show me how
I
to do
will, I was about to.
it. Okay,
So
okay.
you take 2 spoons and you kind of run them along each other like that,
Huh?
and it makes like a little oval, almost like a little football game. Go ahead and try that.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and flip over our foie gras.
So you just,
Here's our foie gras, check it out. Ooh, look at that nice crust we got going on there.
It looks delicious.
Right. Pop it back in the oven.
Okay, so I'm just finishing up my quenelle. Wait, quenelle? Quenelle?
Quenelle.
Quenelle. Now, what's the origin? Why is it called quenelle?
It's a French word. I'm not really sure. Yeah.
Where
how
would you
about
like it?
Right over there. That looks great. You did wonderful.
Thanks. The perfect oval. Who knew?
So here's our foie gras. And we're going to go ahead and baste it up with a little bit of its own fat there. Shine it up.
Oh, it smells good.
Oh, isn't that great?
Oh, reminds me of all the best European bistros that I've been to.
And then we have a little bit of salt and pepper. Here you go. This is
You go in a chef's kitchen, it's hard to let you cook.
this is called celery. Adds a little bit of texture and of course
Celery, the salt
celery,
is?
yeah, gray salt, and then a
Okay.
little bit of pepper as well.
So a little pinch of gray salt, a little pinch of fresh pepper.
Right, and then we're going to take our bok choy,
Mm-hmm.
and I form like a little, almost like a little package. And if you want to go ahead and
Beautiful.
put that right up against the quenelle there,
How?
just kind of lean it up against it right there.
This?
Mm-hmm.
Let me
Beautiful.
try to make a package, even though we
ahead,
don't
yeah.
have another plate.
Yeah.
So you just twisted it around.
Mhm. There you go. Yeah, and I always dab it a little bit again, just for any excess grease. You know what? I mean, why not? Go ahead and put two of them because they're a little bit small.
Okay.
So they look really
Double
beautiful.
bok choy, people. We love it.
And then we'll put the foie gras right up against that. Wonderful. We have our other sauce, which is, we didn't go over this, but it's really, really simple. All you do is you take straight apple cider
Okay.
and reduce it down. This is reduced by about 75%.
75%. So you just bought apple cider, put
Yeah.
it in a pot, and boiled it down.
boiled it down, yeah.
Till it was a thick consistency,
That's it.
almost a syrup.
Mhm, Yep. And
That's
then-
simple enough.
Super, super simple. And then we're gonna go ahead and put that on the plate.
You just got it in a little painter's bottle to make it easy to
Yeah.
dot. Look how beautiful that is.
Right.
We barely did anything.
And then if you want to go ahead and place some celery kind of randomly, I usually put about 3 or 4 pieces, just kind of spread them out a little bit. In the meantime,
I don't know if he wants to trust me with this.
it looks great. And then in the meantime, we'll break up a little bit of our granola that we made earlier. And then if you want to go ahead and place those a little bit randomly as well.
Randomly, just
Yeah, like one here, one there, one over there.
we're making art, kids.
We're making art. And then
Art
look,
with your food. You always wanted to play with it, didn't you?
look at our celery. Look how it's curled up, really beautiful. Isn't that cool?
Oh wow, yeah, that did. They almost
And then taste it.
automatically curl when put in that. It was just ice water, right?
Just ice water, that's it. Nice and crunchy.
Oh yeah, it maintained its texture, absolutely.
So we'll go ahead and place a few of these around. Again, randomly, you know, I don't like
Making
food
art
that
with
looks
my food.
overly
making
contrived,
art
you
with
know?
my food. I don't know if you want me in your kitchen. I'm having too much fun.
No, you're doing great. And then also we use some of the celery leaves for garnish.
That celery, it's still so crunchy and fresh. It's almost like it adds a quality and a freshness to the dish that I can only imagine. It's going to break up that fat in the foie gras.
That's it. And then you can just see some of that fat coming out, which just adds so much flavor.
Voila!
And voila, there you go. That's the dish.
Gourmet food that I didn't even know I could make.
You did great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Look how beautiful it is.
Well, I think the best part about this dish is that you can pre-prep the granola.
You can make
Eat
the
it for
granola.
breakfast later on.
You can make the mostarda.
Pre-prep the mostarda. So really,
The cider
if you were
reduction.
throwing a dinner party, you know, you're just grilling up your foie gras and your vegetables and then
That's
putting
it.
it all together.
Mhm.
And look how elegant it looks like you spent hours and hours in the kitchen.
20 minutes.
Amazing.
That's it. Wonderful.
Do we get to taste this?
Absolutely. All right, dig in.
So, should we put all the pieces together?
That's, I think, the best way to eat it. You get a little piece of celery, a little piece of mostarda, some bok choy, and then some crunch.
Okay, let's see if I can master this forkful. That's another story altogether. I'm gonna break
There
up
we
my
go.
hand.
Yeah, it's
I'm
easier
gonna be.
with
I'm
your
gonna be uncouth here.
There you go. And then, of course, you want to get a little bit of mostarda on there. There we go. I'll help you out.
Thank you. A little piece of celery. A little bit of vinaigrette. Ready, guys?
Go for it.
Oh yeah.
You like like it?
Oh yeah, that is delicious.
Great.
I mean, you almost don't feel how, usually, you know, foie gras can be really heavy.
Mm-hmm.
It almost takes away from all the fresh ingredients and crunch.
Yeah, absolutely.
It elevates that heavy texture of foie gras.
Good,
so
good. That's
you
what I was
taste all
looking
the
for.
different flavors.
Mm-hmm.
This is so fall, so delicious. You got your sweet, you got your savory, your crunch. You did an amazing job with your textures. I love them.
Thank you very much.
I can see why this is your favorite.
It is.
And now I'm gonna eat it all.
All right, good.
Thank you so much for being
You're
with us
welcome.
and spending the time.
My pleasure, my
And
pleasure.
will you please tell everyone the full name of your dish? I'm gonna study it.
Seared foie gras, apple mostarda, bok choy, celery, and pumpkin seed granola and cider reduction.
I'm gonna go practice now, guys. This was your episode of Noshable Notes. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you guys enjoy cooking.